Ses. Dear guests, welcome back again to our next panel, and the topic is also important and such a trend topic on nowadays as well. So the future ways to raise club incomes, and they're going to discuss by the moderator, and I would love to invite him, Eduardo, CARA, Content and Business Director at Selfies. Welcome. He's coming with the ball. Okay. And speakers, I would love to invite Pavel Ivanov, Senior Sponsorship Manager at Football Club Zenit.
Thank you.
Welcome. Karel LOPEZ, Marketing Activations Manager at Real Sociedad Football Club. Welcome. And my last speaker, I would love to announce Nickolas, Chief Business Development Officer at FAMSI. And this panel sponsored by FAMSI, so thank you. And the stage will be yours. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. It actually took a while to get here from Brazil, like 40 hours. So we're like traveling back and forth is like more or less the same time I will spend here. But the time we spent here, it's just great. Thanks to Mr. Bekic, who is not here, and his team who made this happen actually. Because it's a lovely atmosphere here. And I think, guys, you enjoyed all the way. So thank you very much. Today we want to talk about like how clubs can raise their incomes, because of course everybody would like to get more money. At the end of the day, you need it to develop your sports side, to develop your youth, to develop your infrastructure, to just move forward as a football club. Anyway, you need it. So I just get the clicker. So we are a fan engagement solution, so we would like to see this through the prism of fans and fan-centric decision making. We had around 200 plus meetings over the last half a year with the football club officials, with the federation officials, from marketing side, from decision making side, and what we saw from that, we want to share with you the problems that are there, and the guys from the clubs will share their vision from inside and how is it going there, and is there any correlation between this, and then we will give some theses, how can we make it better, how we can make it work. So first of all, who are the fans nowadays? What kind of problems do we have? One of the meetings we had back in Brazil with one of the top clubs there, and the president told us a story that when he was born, like around 60 years ago, his grandfather, actually, at the day he was born, his grandfather went to the Corinthians office and he paid a membership fee for him and issued a membership card at the day he was born. So he received his birth certificate after he became a Corintiano. And you know it is, right? And is it the same nowadays? Is there a bigger gap between generations which doesn't make this transition that fast? And funny thing, yeah, that he ended up becoming a president of this club 50 years after. So, and this distance between generations, I want to talk about, like, how can we make those fans, how we can approach those younger generation, Gen X, Gen Z, because this is a massive problem in all the sports, all the entertainment, those younger generation, those fans who will be fans in 10, 15 years. And basically this ultra competitive entertainment market, and at the same time this attention window which is quite small, doesn't let us like get them naturally, natively. And if we want to approach this, we have to compete. We compete with Netflix. People just want to go and watch it easily. And when we are talking about those younger generations, there is always like this thesis that, okay, it's hard to make them watch 90 minutes of football. But at the same time, they spend hours watching esports, watching some kind of streams for hours, because they are interactive. There are so many things. There is a community part in it, inside the stream. And you can get some digital merchandise right there. And then you can use this, and most importantly, use this merchandise. You can show off. And with this situation that we saw, like talking to the clubs, in late 2021, when the hype of this NFT, tokenomics and everything was there, basically, what we see that now, after having the same conversation with the same people after almost a year, we see that there is a lack of engagement and interest, because the main problem is the focus. The focus when the partnerships are coming into the club, and basically when the partnership manager of the club, what is his KPI? What is the marketing department KPI? To bring more money to the club, right? Because the board will not approve a deal which is not bringing money, or is just promising money. And where it leads? It leads to this, because of bigger upfront guarantee is, there must be an exclusivity clause. An exclusivity clause causes you missed opportunities, because this is extremely emerging market, the technology. And technologies are coming every month. And we have a great case, like we should have worked with one of the biggest players, I mean, as a brand at the World Cup, a national team. But we didn't manage to get this deal because there was a blocker. Even though the federation wanted to do this, but there was a blocker, exclusivity. And the contract was not, it's like basically one company is renting the whole building and using one room and not letting anyone in. It's good for the company, but for the organization, the club, is it good? Maybe in the short term you gain a lot of money, but further on, do you have a control of this? Do you see the results? Because they can just wrap up and go away next year, and what are you going to do? You need to find new tenants. When you have 50 tenants, you can manage each one. And what about data? Do they provide you the data? What's happened in that room? What's going on with your fans when they enter this room? Because when it is an external platform working together with the club or federation, basically they take your fans and engage them with their platform, and they're not your fans anymore. They're users of the platform. And do you get the data? Maybe minor data. I cannot go like in very, very deep details like in public about this, but you guys know how much, for example, any token model, how many of those token holders are the fans of the club, with each the club who had issued tokens or these NFTs. So basically, if we want to avoid this missed opportunities, we need to go to basically the fan-centric decision-making, long-term, investing into your club, into your fans, into your audience. Without that, without that we have what we have. We receive the money, lump sum money up front, and then basically in 1 year, 2 years, we are at the same spot if we are not moving backwards, because everything is going forward. And this model, I want just to tell you, like, it's very basic, and most of you have seen this. So, and axis X, like this is a time dedication fan has into your club. And axis Y, Epsilon, it is like financial contribution. In the quarter number 1, this is a perfect fan who spent a lot of time for the club, like going to all the games, occasions, talking about the club, watching the games, and spending a lot of money, buying merchandise for his friends, family, for the Christmas time or any other occasions. Then there is a busy man, those like household owners, like people who work a lot and who have a capacity to spend a lot for the club, but they do it occasionally. Like for some 3 times a year they go to the game, they rent a whole place like a Camarocha or like Skybox, and they buy a lot of merchandise for their partners and all this stuff. But they are not that, they're okay, we are okay with them. It's for many clubs, it's a massive part of their revenue, this executive programs, hospitality and all this stuff. The next group is number 3, those who are like basically who live in the city and who have a chance to be the fan, or the tourists visiting. And this group is like, it's really hard to work with them like separately, and this is a different topic. But the main part is the most loyal fan base, the core of it, which has a lot of people, and the purchasing power is not always there. But the loyalty, dedication to the brand, and love to the football is there. And if we want to work with them, we should firstly give them something. But what we do, we sign like any kind of sponsorship partnership, and then we activate this partnership for our most loyal fan base. Of course, the company who comes to partner with us, they are getting a lot from it. But next year again, we have a new partner, and we have to do it again. So we're investing into someone's business. And what we get? Money in the short term. What about long term? Where are we moving? And in the prism of like revenue generation for the organization, in order to make this sustainable revenue growth, we should invest in ourselves, I mean, into the club. And how can we invest? How can we focus and activate it if we have like 50 scouts and 3 people in marketing department? 3 people who are managing millions of people, interactions with millions of people. They have to understand millions of people, divided into the group, and approach each group in a unique way. Talk the same language. Different age groups, different social statuses, different purchasing power, and that we are all different. And we have to receive like a unique approach. And how can we do this with 3 guys? I wanted to talk about this in decision making inside the club. If we want to invest and we want basically to move forward, there are so many things to do. So many. It's like nearly impossible to read it. You can just take a snap and just read it later. And there is a Turkish version as well. So basically, there are so many things to do. And how come those 3 guys in the marketing department who has to bring the money, bring the sponsorships, also be in contact with all the fans and invest into the club? How can they do this? Without changing the paradigm of decision making and making it fan-centric, it is nearly impossible to move in the long run and obtain the attention of the younger generation, acquire new fans, and retain those who are with the club. There will be always loyal people who love football, and thanks God we have them, and thanks God we have this game. But there's still, like, if we look at it as a business, we need to invest in our club, love it, and do something to have it sustainable. Then others will trust and invest in your club. So basically that's more or less it. Like, I wanted to show you this idea, and then we continue this conversation afterwards if you want to look deeper into the previous slide. What can we do for the club, and what are we doing to help it? Because we cannot change it like this, hire 50 people into marketing department and then everything goes fine. No, it doesn't work like this. It starts from here, from decision making. What does the board, what is the president expecting from his marketing department, from his commercial department, partnerships? Because people who work in the club and do the job daily, they're basically focused on the KPIs the board is giving them, and they're doing their job to bring it. If you ask wrong, you get wrong. So how about start asking for some investment into the club of your own people? So basically, more or less, that's it. Thank you very much, and we will continue conversation. Pavel,
Yeah.
I guess, right?
Eduardo.
Thank you, Nickolas, for that great speech. You know, fan engagement is one of the key for the next revenue in the news era. Monetize the fans to collecting the data, and exactly how we can exactly monetize this data. Then Pavel, will introduce Pavel Ivanov from Zenit St. Petersburg is here. And well, please welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I have my own. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you Winter League committee for organizing all this perfect event. Thank you for the ball. I'm working for Zenit for 7.5 years right now, and I'm ready to share my ideas and how the clubs actually sees the current sponsorship trends and what are we doing in terms of working with sponsors. And so thank you, Nickolas, for his observation of fan engagement, because I also think that this is the future of sports sponsorship. And if you help me to turn on my slides, I think we can keep going.
It looks like St. Petersburg, by the way.
Please, send it presentation, please. 3, 2, 1.
Boom. So just while we're waiting, short version of my career, because to make familiar with myself. I was born in St. Petersburg, and then I studied there. I moved to UK for sports management master course. Then I took part in Olympic Games at hospitality team and CSM agency. Then I moved to beach soccer club, and now I'm in Zenit. And thank you very much. I got it.
You can up if you want.
Yeah. Okay, you can see it. It's okay. Yeah. So yes. So this is what we have discussed, and today we are talking about sports sponsorship, and actually there are a lot of different ways to categorize sponsorship, and we should all remember that it's not only about sports, it's also about venue, TV, digital events, and so on. And this is very important for us as a professionals to remember, because when we are fighting for the sponsors, when we are trying to attract some new revenue, we need to understand that, for example, Zenit is not competing just with Spartak or Dynamo, but also with a lot of events and a lot of things that are happening around us. So that's we need to remember. And when we are speaking about sports sponsorship, usually people think that that's just about LED screens, static boards, some placement, logos on the jerseys, and that's it. But really it's not, because it's much more about engaging fans, much more about transmitting of companies' ideas, brands' ideas to the football clubs, and then sharing it with the fans. And now I would like to show you the classical paradigm of sponsorship, and that's how sponsorship worked before. It's very simple, and I think everybody understands it, that the fan gets the information, for example, that Heineken is a partner of Champions League. Then he sees some kind of activations, maybe the board during the game, and in his brain there is the combination between Heineken and Champions League, and that's it. Then when he goes to the store to grab some beer, he chooses Heineken. But that's not how it is working right now, because just information is not enough anymore for the fans. You need to do more. It should be not just some information about the static board or the logo on the jersey. You should engage with fans, you should tell them stories, you should speak about something which is popular, which is on the hype, which everybody discuss. Only in this way the brand might be memorable by the fans, and only in this way sponsorship works. And I think that is the crucial thing which have changed through the last maybe 5 or 10 years, that how we say it to our sponsors, it's not enough just to sign the contract, it's just the start, because you need to invest much more time, much more money, and much more efforts in activating sponsorship. And so for 2023, I think that for the sponsorship trends, I would, as a professional in sports industry, I would choose 4 topics which might be interested and which would be interested for the brands and both for the clubs, federations, etc. Of course, female sports is getting more and more popular every year. Different crypto, NFT, metaverse, despite of the fact that 2022 was not very successful for that kind of business, for that market, but I'm sure that people and companies who invested a lot of money in this market, they will struggle in 2023 and then they will come back. Storytelling and fun engagement, this what all is about, and I will show you a little bit later how we deal with it in Zenit, without outsourcing partners, but inside the club we understand that it's very important. So, few numbers we have discussed a lot. Female sports these days, everybody understands that the future of female sports is very bright, and we'll see a lot of sponsors there. It's just to getting you the idea that sports clubs, sports federations should keep investing in this kind of business, in this sport, because it's getting more and more popular, and sponsors in this way will more and more try to invest in this because the awareness of it grows. Crypto, NFT, and metaverse, yes, I have discussed a lot of companies like Binance, Socios, CARA, made their own products, attracts a lot of clubs, and this is for the new generation, a new kind of business, a new kind of reality, I would say. But what we have discussed with Nickolas a little bit earlier during the coffee break, the clubs and the companies both, they should educate fans in order them to understand how to use it, because otherwise, again, as Nickolas mentioned, you lose your fans. So you can trade NFTs or you can trade fan tokens to a lot of people, but not all of them are your fans. That's important for the clubs to understand. And now, just few short cases from Zenit from this year. Both of them are with our global partner, Russia Airlines. So the first one is about storytelling, because you should tell the fans real stories, and the fans should really understand and appreciate them. Only if you are telling interesting stories, then it will be fan engagement. And if the fans can even participate in this, that's great. So our partner, Russia Airlines, came to us and said, okay guys, we are placing our logos everywhere, we are activating in some kind of social media, that's great, but we need something more. We need to have a great case. And in this case, we sat down and think, okay, what everybody is dreaming about. So everybody is dreaming to become a part of Zenit as a player. But of course, it's practically impossible, yeah, for the regular boy, girl to join the team, especially if the transfer window is not open and if you're not a professional athlete. But together with Russia Airlines, we created this contest when every person from Russia could participate. It should record a small video why we should choose him or her. And in this case, we brought some guy, Dmitry, from one of small towns. He flew by Russia Airlines plane to St. Petersburg, and then miracle starts because he was treated as a real new signing player for Zenit. He took the medical checkup. He signed professional contract with the CEO of the club. Then he went to the stadium, he had his own place in the dressing room. He visited the game from the VIP box, and then as the most important thing, he took part in a real training session with the whole main squad, with the head coach, and of course we did all the videos, we put it in social media together with our partner. But it was a real buzz around it because we made a real dream of the fan, just regular fan, come true. And this was like a story, how you can sit in your chair in small town and then in 3 days you are becoming the real player of Zenit, together with our partner, of course. And fan engagement, this is also a very interesting case. We created it again with Russia Airlines, and Russia is a partner not only of Zenit but also of Dynamo Moscow. And we organized a derby of two capitals, so Moscow and St. Petersburg. We gathered two teams, one fans of Dynamo, fans of Zenit. It was more than 1,800 applications from Moscow, from St. Petersburg, from all other cities. And these two teams, they have training sessions in the academies of both clubs with professional coaches, 2 weeks trainings. Then they have 2 games against each other. And we attracted media bloggers. So it was a huge reach in social media. And that's really how we engaged our fans between the games, between the home games, when there is nothing to do except clicking in social media. It was really great, and it was very successful. So that's how we work, and that's how we see the perspective of sponsorship in the future. And now I think I'm passing the ball.
Pavel.
I have a question, if it's possible right now, because related to this.
No, just a question, quick question. What is the main challenge for attracting new sponsor for Zenit?
I would say that the main challenge now is to educate the companies in Russia that sponsorship is not just giving money and receiving nothing in return. So that's actually what the majority of companies and majority of directors think, that sponsorship in Russia is just giving money and nothing else. And we are trying to fight against it, because we explain that you get in return much more than you can get, for example, if you invest in Google AdWords.
Thank you.
May
Hey,
I just
Nickolas.
ask a brief question?
Okay.
Yeah, because we are talking about like revenue and like developing the club, and here we heard about like mostly like what is the company get, what the club is giving, but what is club getting beside this money? What did it give it to you? Did it boost anyhow? It affect your revenue? It affect your, like, I don't know, this partnership affect your ticket sales or merchandise sales or activation in social media? You get more traffic. Because this is the more important, because what is the agenda? Why did you do it? Was it a part of the long-term plan? What was it?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. That was one piece of our global contract. We have a 3 years deal. And in this case, the main focus was on the young audience, because we attracted young football bloggers who are now in Media League, very popular in Russia. And we were really surprised when, for the general audience, nobody knows some kind guy like Prokop, for example. By the way, after this event, he went to Botev and signed his first professional contract. But it's about a different thing. We invited him to make an autograph session on the stadium, and it was the same amount of audience that the player of the main squad get. But the difference was that the audience was like from 13 to 16 years old, and the half of them just came to the stadium for this guy, just to get his autograph. And then as a club, we got a lot of new audience, and that is one of the main aims for Zenit right now, to work with the young audience, because we understand that, okay, today there might be children, but in 2, 3, 5 years, they will be the core audience that will attend the stadiums.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, regarding Nickolas, I have a question for you. Over your experience, you met more than 200 clubs in your experience. And what do you think is they have in common and difference in terms of fan engagement?
Actually, yeah, I met much more than 200 clubs, but over the last 6 months, yeah, I mean, in terms of, on this topic, we had these conversations with the clubs all around the globe, from Singapore to Honduras. And what we see that there are many, many great people working in clubs, like you guys, doing your job perfectly. But mostly, it's like a pieces, like you are building the wall that you don't have a design for. You're creating a great bricks, but the wall you're building has no structure, because there is no task for this wall. And this is the biggest challenge we saw. That's why we wanted to look at this revenue generation through a new prism, through the fan-centric prism, because if your efforts, like what you just said about, we got this new young audience, but what did you do after that? What happened after that? And the fan-centric approach is focused on every touch since the person had the thought about going to the football game, or even making him think about this. I spent a lot of time playing American football. I was starting quarterback for Team Russia, and I'm really like deep into the NFL, how to develop, and it's a pinnacle of sports business. Americans know how to make business, but it's about making every step perfect. Once you think about going to the stadium, is it easy to go and buy tickets? How many varieties do you have? Then is it easy to get to the stadium? Is it easy to get into the stadium? Is it easy to get a sausage? Is it easy to spend your money? Because I was at, for example, Real Madrid CSKA in Moscow in Luzhniki, 80,000 people, MasterCard is a sponsor, a title sponsor. But you cannot pay with a card on the stadium. You cannot buy a sausage because there is a line. You either choose, go to the restroom or get a sausage, or skip the second half. And if you get through the line to get the sausage, you are not able to pay with the MasterCard, who is a title sponsor. Those small things, and every touch should be polished, because there should be a general plan that unites all those touches, and one leads to another. Those rewards, like you just mentioned, many companies, Social, Sorar, and many, many other things. It's somewhere else. It's just you give your fans there, and you do not control it at all. If you want to do something with your fans, you know them. Nobody knows them better than you. That's why we don't want even, of course we are highlighting our brand, but when we are working with the club, we are hiding behind the scene, and we try to make your efforts more effective, outsource you in many things, and help you to build this fan journey, which every action leads to something. And then you can have the full picture, and then you can get back to the board meeting and say, hey, we did this. We didn't get like money upfront, but over this, it affected our club in so many spheres positively, and we making the first step, next year, next step, and there is a long-term plan. So mostly this is the most important what we see. There are great people in football, but the general agenda is not there. The focus is not there.
Okay, thank you, Nickolas. Well, we're going to introduce Karel Lopez. He's coming from Spain, Real Sociedad. He's working with activation. I think it's an important topic. Well, please welcome.
Thank you very much, Eduardo. For example, I will add a thing. Last year we had a Wi-Fi sponsor. Our main sponsor was a Wi-Fi company. So we worked with them to improve our Wi-Fi in all of our installations in stadium, in sports city. So I think that the sponsorship has to increase in this kind of situations also.
Yeah, like investment into the club, right? Perfect, yeah, that's...
Well, Karel is going to show a report regarding, well, it's in Spanish, but it's no big deal. Regarding activation, I'm working in CU, and we do an activation for fans. The main goal was collecting data from the fans, and also to do branding and to generate impact in social media. In CU, we do something simple. We invite to the fans to take a selfie, and we throw this selfie customized to the giant screen in the stadium to give an experience. It's something that the sponsor like it. In that case, Finetwork is one of the most important sponsors in Spain. The sponsor Real Sociedad, also Real Federación Española de Fútbol, well, Spanish Federation, and also some business in motorsports. And well, they believe in the engagement as not the future, as the present, to engage the fans and to get revenues. And well, let's go to go further with the report, final report, how it was going. Well, Karel.
Okay, we were working with Eduardo, as he said. We tried with his solution against Valencia match. So the solution is easy. It's about selfies, and we try and we got more than I don't remember exactly, but maybe 300
yes,
more or less of selfies in the first time. So for us was an important activation, and we were very happy about it.
Yes. One of the important things is the selfie not only for the stadium, also it's a campaign supporting in social media and also with another partners. Then, as you can see, you get selfies from the stadium, but also out of the stadium. This is important because also with this campaign we can help to the club to internationalize, okay? To be in different countries where also they have some interest. For example, Real Sociedad has a big name in Japan. Then, well, finally, Japan is paying attention about that guy, and well, as you can see, the selfies, as you can send a message, and well, finally, if you are at home or you are with the family or whatever in the stadium, you can be part of the activation. Easy, And everything is involved with a QR in the stadium. I'm not sure if you are involved with this, but we are going to try in the next, with the next presentation, we are going to try to do a selfie. Well, just wondering, Karel, how do you think Real Sociedad could grow up with this kind of activation in the present and in the future?
For us, it's important, as you say, to get that people outside the stadium have contents. So I think that we have to work with our fans in the stadium, but also outside the stadium. This solution, for example, is perfect for this situation. The next match in which we will try with this will be against Valladolid. I think more or less it's going to be in February, I think. And we will try with Japan spectators. We have a player in our team that is Take Kubo. For us, it's very important to grow in Japan. So we will try to do an activation with CU in Japan.
Well, I can say Real Sociedad is one of the most dynamic clubs in the football, well, in the Spanish market. And for sure, this kind of activation helps for maintaining the sponsor and to be international.
Don't you mind
Yes.
if I ask a question for my colleague, Karel? We're talking here on also about income, and I understand that this tool can help you as a club to get the data, but what about potential income? For example, interacting with other sponsors, how can you use it, or do you have plans?
For example, we sold this solution to one of our sponsors, that is Finetwork in this case, and they are very happy with the result because in all the giant screens that we have around the stadium, they can watch their logo, and they are very happy with this.
Please, Nickolas, any thoughts?
Yeah, I have a question because you just mentioned that collecting data is a goal, like it's an objective, and also like day before yesterday we had a great conversation on sports data from the people who really knows everything about data, and there is a lot of noise created by the data. There should be a clear goal. So basically, how does this partnership affect this revenue? Basically, affect, for example, you mentioned you have some representation in Japan, you have some interest into entering this market. How do you measure this? What are the KPIs for Europe? Because is it a part of the global expansion plan? And how do you measure? How does those 4,200 selfies affect which number in your club? How does it affect Japanese people ordering merchandise to Japan? How does it affect your social media engagement? Because people talk about amount of selfies, amount of followers. Of course, you can increase the amount of followers. We analyze all the clubs through many parameters in terms of engagement. And when we see that, for example, one big club has over 1 million followers, and there is another club, for example, we are comparing, like, for example, I know, CARA and Curitiba in Brazil. One has 1 million, another has 600,000. And engagement rates are dramatically different. So this 600,000 club doing a great job to connect to those people.
Well, let me add that with this activation, when we collecting the data, we share this data with the club, also with the fan. What means, finally, we can create a commercial asset when we do the activation monthly, and finally we know exactly how many people reach on social media, how many people reach outside the stadium, inside the stadium, how many fans be part of the activation, and finally we can create a commercial asset, £5,000, £10,000. It depends the big numbers of the club as well, for sure. And the clubs can sell this commercial asset like a hospitality package. Okay. Then this is the point to work to collecting data. This is simple to collecting data to give a and experience to the fans. But for sure it's important, after this, what Nickolas said, to work with this data properly and, to revenue and to monetize.
That's what I talk about long-term planning. When you collect data, you should, before you start to collect data, you should know why you do this. Now it's just collecting. Let's collect data, then we will probably do this, or maybe we will do this, or maybe we will do this. Of course, you adjust all the time, but you should have a general picture coming from the top. There's a KPI, and we are moving to this KPI step by step, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that.
Exactly, that way. By the way, you can take a selfie, okay? In the stadium, you can find a QR like this, take a selfie. Well, we invite to take a selfie and to check the experience. We have different events right now. You can choose one of them. It's international. And, finally, we are going to collect your data as well. Any thoughts, Karel? Okay. Well,
About selfies?
About selfies.
Yeah, let's do it.
that's good. Well, thank you for
I just have one word. Actually, if so, there is interest in terms of knowing about what's going on, how exactly there was a big list of things, how we help clubs with this. We are more than welcome to connect to us, and we have a chance. We'll be here for 2 more days. So if you have some time, we'll be happy to gather together and show you how this is technically done. We have our representative who is running all the story here, and he will tell you a lot more about what exactly do we do to navigate clubs through the mass of NFT, blockchain, tokenomics, fan engagement, and everything.
The ball, please. Well, my thoughts is right now we are working collecting data, and as I think who has the power, who has the ball has the power, who has the data has the power. Any thought? Any questions? Yes, please. Any question?
Wow,
Okay.
nice
you,
shot.
You have the power.
Okay, so this is Fatih from LTT Sports. I'm a regional associate for the company. My question here is to Pavel and Karel, because Zenit and Real Sociedad, they both have something in common, that they both are acquiring a new stadium. And in terms of fan engagement, my question is how a new stadium could be an asset for making contents or for generating contents for fan engagement.
Okay, thank you. I think I go first. You are right. In St. Petersburg, we got our new stadium 5 years ago, and it was I don't know even how to compare, because new stadium has a roof, retractable field. We can play minus 20
as well
outside.
in Russia, which is something really crucial.
Yeah, because when it's minus 20 outside, it's plus 16 inside, and it's perfect conditions for fans and players. And of course, the new stadium is full of new technologies. Like we have a lot of big screens, LED systems in front of the field and between the rows. And of course, we use it for our sponsorship activations, for fan engagement, because we do practically the same as CU guys does by our own to send your photos and your message, and you can see it on the screen. So yeah, of course, everything new helps to go further, but the main thing is that you always need to want more and keep investing in yourself, in the stadium, and etc. You should never stop, because otherwise next year you will be out of the league. So that's how it works for us.
Thank you.
For example, we have an area for singers in the stadium to get more, I don't know how to say, more fan engagement also outside the football. And also we have a new fan zone. We are installing the ribbon, so we have different things around the stadium to get more fan engagement.
Thank you, Karel. Well, just to say thank you to the organization, to everyone who to make possible that we have been here, and hopefully you enjoy the panels, the day, and your time in Turkey. Yes, from my side, I'm super hot, warm in Turkey. Thank you too much to everyone to make it, and let's go to have a lunch. That's all. Thank you.
Actually, Mr. Bekic created a great reason to come to Turkey, not only during the summertime, but also during the winter time, and enjoy it even more. So thank you everyone for being here. It's just great.
Thank you guys.
The ball, please. Do your job.
Let's make us fight for it, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Teşekkür ederim.
Thank you.
Maybe we can.
Yes, sure. Thank you.